Voice, can you check your voice if you... No, it's not audible, for me at least. Yeah. No, it's really not audible still. Anybody can hear?
Am I audible now?
Yes, fantastic. No, Rich, loud and clear. Yeah, please
Thank
go
you
on.
so much.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Kadir. Thank you very much. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. I think a lot have been shared since morning, and I think it was your strategic vision, Dr. Kadir, to keeping the strategy execution part till the end. I mean, people talk about the strategy planning throughout the day. We talked about the budgeting. We talked about the performance management, and I think that all these things are clubbed together when it comes to the strategy execution, because during the strategy execution we have to link all these things together to ensure that we are delivering the value to the organization. Thank you very much, Dr. Kader, and the participants. Thank you very much. My name is Mohammed Fawad Hussain, and I have over 20 years of an experience into strategy execution, strategy planning, as well as strategy auditing, helping organization implementing the strategies and evaluating the effectiveness of their strategies. I have been delivering trainings on different disciplines. I have delivered almost 5,000 hours of trainings, as well as 300 plus day of evaluating the different strategies. By virtue of my strategic qualification, I'm certified business planning professional, balanced scorecard professional, business transformation portfolio professional, change management professional, project management, of course, organization project management, certified PMO development, and KPI professional. On the other hand, my management systems, on the side of the management system, I'm Lean Six Sigma Black Belt. I'm quality, health, safety, environment, and process management auditor, certified supply chain professional, and approved by different organization as to be the lead trainer. Today, I'll be mostly talking about the strategy execution and how we can improve. What I chose to speak about is not a regular approach that what everyone is doing when we are reaching to the strategy execution. But what I'm planning to do is to talk about the important factors which we must consider while we are, ensuring that effective strategy execution. So the topic will be talking about value management and the process approach today, as well as now I'll touch upon a little bit on the strategy planning and the frameworks. I'll not go into the details because a lot have been spoken about since morning, that how to do the strategy planning. I think Sameer's presentation was one of the comprehensive presentation on strategy planning. Dr. Salman's presentation was very good on and comprehensive on a budgeting. And then we had, I'm sorry, I forgot the name, speaking about the performance management. So we have spoken about many things. But what I will be focusing on today is that what are the critical success factors in order to deliver the value to different stakeholders. So, of course, when we talk about the strategy planning or the strategy formulation, the values, mission, vision, and a strategic objective and action and KPIs, which is your strategic change agenda also. That where we want to reach in when it comes to the strategy, the current state and the future state. So it's more on the value is more on inspirational level, and when we go back, it's more on strategic and tangible results level, where we talk about the strategy execution, that how we can translate these results into the tangible benefits for the organization. Uh, we talked about many frameworks since morning. There are balanced scorecard is one of the framework, strategy mapping, OKRs, KPIs, performance dashboard, change management, and non-traditional frameworks like Six Sigma, like business process reengineering, like Lean. All these tools, or PDCA, all these tools are available to effectively execute the strategy. But the important factor is that how we can select these tools and what tool is the best tool for an organization. I think since morning we talked about the small and medium enterprise, we talked about the family businesses, we talk about multinational companies. So it's all depend on the maturity and the capability of the organization, that what kind of a tool they can use and what is more suitable as per the culture of the organization. Now, for example, during my work with Al Kifah, I was heading the strategy execution department for the group. We actually use the approach of balanced scorecard, where we ensure that every organization goal is translated into different level of different perspective of the balanced scorecard. In my other experiences where I worked with Tamimi, we were following the OKR and the objective and key result as the main framework. We did not go to the balanced scorecard. We just went to the organization goal and you know cascaded down to the key results and the objectives, and and then from there we went all the way to KPIs. Now, in my third experience, where I was working with Al Majdoi, we went directly from the goals to the KPIs. Now, all these three experiences I want to differentiate, because Kifa was a mature organization where systems are understood. People were developed throughout the time when we were developing the PMO office. On the other hand, Tamimi was not mature. They were developing, their practices. So for the best tool which was best fit for them was OKRs. Now, the third experience, which I was developing strategy and execution frameworks for, and the performance management, of course, for Al Majdui, which is Raya Financing. So it was a small organization, and people did not have much clarity on what is the difference between KPIs, what is the difference between result areas and objectives, and what is balanced scorecard. So there, what we did, we took the organizational goals, translated into the KPIs directly, and handed over it to, or collaborated with the department, and got it aligned with the department. From there, we went back to the performance management for the individual people. Now, so the thing is, all depends on what kind of maturity, or what is the level of organization. So referring back to Gomez, that it's, if you go in the organization, a smaller organization which is like 50 or 100 employees, on the other hand, and you're coming from the organization which is like 12,000 employees, and if you are trying to implement the same framework in the new smaller organization, it might not work. It most probably it will fail. So you have to design your approach or the framework, as Dr. Kadir also said, there is no standardized approach. So you have to link all these things together and design a tailored framework as per the organizational need. So that's how you will start delivering the value at different levels. So that's the first thing. Now, the second thing is, um, we, we talked about the strategy planning, but today our focus is on strategy implementation, strategic control and monitoring, and the strategic performance or evaluation. We will talk about the initiative management, and we will talk about the operations management in next few slides. Now, I mean, organizations are suffering when it comes to the strategy execution. Reason being that they are trying to implement the best of the best practices. My experience, we when we start implementing some strategy framework, we keep on doing the analysis, we keep on doing the brainstorming, and we make that analysis to the paralysis, to be honest. And we try to come up with the most sophisticated framework which is the best for any organization, but we are not mature. We have to consider that the organization at the beginning of the strategy is not mature. So I think my what I have learned over the period of time is the MVP, minimum viable product. So we need to start with the basics. We need to start that how we can ensure that everything is start coming together in the right place when it comes to the strategy execution. Today, I mean, people discuss strategy at the end of the management review meetings when everything is financial and everything has been done. Then they, yeah, let's talk about the strategy. I see throughout my experience that there is a lack of alignment of the budget with the strategy. We define the strategy, we select the initiatives, and we don't do the alignment with the budget. How much budget, how much resources do we need in order to execute these initiatives, as well as we don't know how we don't go and we just give that one initiative or the part of the strategy to one department, and we don't either train him, or we don't give him a budget, we don't give him a resources. Now, the other thing which I have observed over the period of time, or we must focus, is alignment with the performance management. Usually, the strategy is developed and it remains either to the corporate level, and if it is going to the department level, it remains within the department level. It does not reflect on the people performance. It does not reflect, and people do not know how they can contribute towards the strategy. The best experience we had in my previous engagement with Raya Financing, where we defined all together to the all level. We ensure that strategy is communicated. That was the first part. Number two part was that every employee in the organization knows how he is contributing to the strategy. And trust me that from the year 1, 6 months time, we started seeing results. So I think alignment with the performance management, this is one of the critical factors which usually people or the organization miss. And lack of understanding of the strategy throughout the organization. This is where the strategy communication come. And the most important thing, the buy-in. People want to know why I'm running some initiative, why I'm carrying out some tasks which have been given throughout the strategy. So people want to know what's in it for me, why I should do that. Now I'll give you an example. I was auditing a strategy department and strategy execution, and they said that our strategy is communicated throughout the organization. And we were at the floor ensuring the initiatives implementation status and all these things. It was part of my auditing engagement, and I happened to met one machine operator, and I asked him, do you know what is your strategy? He said, sir, these guys does not even speak English or any other language. They are just one, either Hindi or Arabic or Bangladeshi. So he said, sir, I don't know what is my strategy, but I know that as a machine operator, if I do not deliver certain components in a day, it will not help. It will not. We will not be able to deliver the final product on time to the customer, and then my performance of the company will go down. For me, it was enough that it was understood. It was not communicated. So the strategy, it was understood at every level, that even the cleaner said, sir, if I will not clean this floor, someone will slip and we will have an accident. On that will affect delaying the process and the product to the customer. So this is one of the very important factor, that it should be communicated and people should know why they are doing or contributing and how they will be contributing to the strategy. Moving forward, when we talk about the planning part, we talked about that the whole planning is done, all the initiatives has been uh, identified, and then people are looking for the value from those initiatives. Now value is different from stakeholder to stakeholders. So now, for the sake of better understanding, I have selected three major stakeholders, or the three major areas where the stakeholder can influence the design of the PMO. This is where you design your PMO as per the value. So if you want to deliver a value, you have to design the PMO in a way that delivers the value. So who are those people who have some expectations? So for example, the first stakeholder is the executive leadership. What do they want? They want, number one, that our strategy is properly cascaded throughout the organization. Our strategy is communicated. The the PMO is aligned with the organization vision and a strategic roadmap, enhance organization culture, and accelerate organizational development. So these are the expectation, and of course the performance of the organization, performance management. So these are the expectations of the executive leadership. On the other hand, you have people who are working with you on the programs, on the projects. They have certain expectations. Now their expectation is that they need to understand that the PMO, or the, these days it's not only the PMO. I mean, there are multiple name: PMO, project management office, change management office, strategy realization office, vision realization office, center of excellence. So all these, so they want these departments to collaborate with them. Number one is that they want to understand that what is the strategic importance of these initiatives they are running, how they can realize the value from those initiatives, and how they can contribute towards the organization strategy. On the other hand, they also want the development. So for example, um, if they need to carry out certain initiative, how they can carry out, they need their own development. They, for example, you can arrange different kind of trainings for them. So this is their expectation, that how they are developing. We as a PMO are developing our resources, which are working either in the business units or either directly on the program and the project under our own supervision vision. And that's also part of your organizational development. Now, internal or external clients, which is in case of enterprise PMO, mostly you deal with the internal clients, which is your departments and the businesses. And in terms of the PMO for the client, you deal with the external clients. They have the expectation. Now, when we talk about the internal customer, uh, they want us to collaborate with them to enhance the value of not only the business, because the initiatives they are running those initiatives to enhance the value of the organization, because the operations are there already to generate the value. So they want us to collaborate with them in order to ensure that we are, as a subject matter expert of the project management or the strategy execution, we collaborate with them and we enhance the value of their projects. Now, we as a team worked on 4 transformation projects. Now, in those 4 transformation projects, I mean, we went as a strategic transformation team. We sat with the businesses, we went to every level of the organization in order to ensure that we understand everything, because this is where the business unit want us to add value. That comes to the governance, that's come to the financial restructuring, comes to the process restructuring, come to the people restructuring, come to the human resource, come to the customer focus approach. So all these things, these are the different value for the different organization, different stakeholders. Now, when you want to define this, translate these into the PMO, you have to ensure an effective design of the PMO, which are able to deliver these value back to the stakeholders. Now, I will not talk about, as I said, I will focus mostly on which I think that the organization or the PMO experts usually have be more vigilant, or it's more critical success factors for the PMO, value generation PMO. Now, of course, when you are developing the PMO, you have to consider the organizational need, you have to define the PMO purpose, why do we exist, and the objectives, what we want to deliver, what kind of a PMO and structure we want to develop. Either we are going to develop a support PMO or a controlling PMO or the directive PMO. That all depends on the maturity of the organization. But in terms of strategy execution, in my last 10 years of an experience with the strategy execution, I think the best PMO for the enterprise is a controlling PMO, where we are not only just giving them the formats and stuff, "Khalas, guys, you use these for that." No, we are getting involved into the operational level of the organization, where we want to ensure that every initiative is delivering the value which they have been selected for. Of course, you have to standardize the templates and tools. Again, I talked about the frameworks. Again, here multiple frameworks are available, but I think the best platform, a best framework for an organization which suits its requirement. You don't have to name it, but you can have your own. I mean, we had our own, organizational framework, which was customized, incorporating many approaches. Even the non-traditional approaches for example, Six Sigma and business process management, all these approaches was integrated into that framework. Of course, you have to define the value, standardized templates and tool to ensure that everybody speaks the same language within the organization, have an effective reporting and metrics. Now, when you are defining the reporting, you have to define two kind of a reporting. Number one, of course, you have to define the parameters for the strategy execution performance throughout the organization. On the other hand, we have to stakeholders want to see what value or what value the PMO is delivering in the organization, in terms of the knowledge enhancement, in terms of the capability enhancement, in terms of the strategy cascade, all these things. So you ensure that all these matrices are defined at this level. Organization capability enhancement, change management. So let me just take you to which I believe that over the period of last 10 years, I believe what are the critical success factors for any PMO when you want to deliver the value. The first is strategy cascade. What happens is initiatives comes to us, we start implementing or planning the initiatives. I will talk about the initiative planning in the next slides, because there's something important I need to talk about. We start working on the initiative planning and delivering that to the project manager, and we start working on monitoring the performance. But I think the most important thing for a value focused PMO is to ensure that start from the beginning. Once the strategy is developed, how you're gonna cascade it to all level of the organization. That's the role of a PMO, because this is where you will be able to see what value it is generating. The strategy execution is generating for when it comes to the strategy results. Value management, define the value. As I said in the previous slide, define the value, what kind of a value you want to deliver to different stakeholders. Now, in terms of executive management, of course, they need to see the strategy cascade. So we need to do the strategy cascade. On the other hand, when we talk about the PMOs and the business units, we have to ensure that they are aligned with the strategy. They are, continuously developed, and they know what they are doing in order to contribute towards the strategy. The third important thing is the flexibility and adaptability, because as a PMO, and especially when you are talking about the strategy execution and the value focused PMO, you have to go to the project level. For example, if you are at the enterprise strategy execution level, you have to go to the business unit level and operational level. So you have to be flexible and adaptable when it comes to understanding, because they consider you the best technical experts, subject matter experts of the project management, or of the business management, or of the process management. So you have to have that business acumen, where you know that how the business operates, how different processes contribute towards the bigger picture of the organization. So you have to be flexible. I have seen um, in my throughout my career that once the performance structure is developed for the PMO or of the initiatives, then that's it. We are not gonna change anything. It's a continuous improvement process. You have to continuously look into, Dr. Salman was talking about the previously. It was a yearly review of the strategy. Now strategy is more agile. Every 3 months you review the strategy, or whenever you need, you review the strategy. There is no set pattern when it comes to the strategy review, so you have to be flexible. Number 4 is an integrated process approach. You have to ensure the processes you are defining for the PMO and for the initiative management, for the performance management, are integrated. So if something changes at the people level, it reflects back to the strategic level. So your process should be tightly integrated. Then change management, here I would not only say change management. I think here we should focus more on a strategic change agenda, because the change agenda will have some initiatives, will have some activities, will have some tasks. So what happens is that usually when this strategy reach to the PMO, we focus only on planning the initiative, executing the initiatives, and then doing the performance of the initiative. But sometimes the major change is a 80-20 rule. Major change is only under the nose of the strategist or the PMO, which is through fixing some operational areas, and you can generate the value. I'll give you one example. We were in a transformation project in one of the organization, and it was a ready mix organization. um, so what we realized that the capacity for the plant was 1000 cubic meter per day, and capacity was like 1200 cubic meter per day, and the orders which the delivery guy was receiving was 1000 cubic meter per day, and the delivery he was able to make was 700 cubic meter per day. So we sat together and we started looking into the why at the first place, that why we are not able to achieve the target once we have the orders in our hand, for the 1000 cubic meter. When we sat together, we realized that there is a disconnect between the delivery guy and the guy who is doing the sales. The guy who is booking the sales, he is booking a delivery 7 o'clock in the morning. On the other hand, the delivery guy already have planned 3 deliveries and he is not available till 10 o'clock in the morning. And then this guy who is waiting since 7 o'clock in the morning, he will start getting paranoid, and or he will either cancel the order, or the order will be move to the next day, or it will not be delivered. So what we did, we just fixed the process of an internal communication, that before the sales guy will book, he will check with the delivery guy, check the slots, and then book the delivery. Would you believe, from the next in the next 3 days, yani, we developed this process, we trained them on this process, and we started observing their performance from the day 3. We started seeing the improvement trend within the deliveries, and within 1 week's time we reached to the 1000 cubic meter of the deliveries which every day we had. So sometime the solution is right under the nose, and it's not only the big initiative or the projects which will bring the change. It's sometimes it's the small activities. So you have to focus on the change management or the strategic change agenda. One of the most critical factor is ignoring the organizational capability, that if we try to develop, as I said previously, sometimes we try to develop the most comprehensive system, and in this try we make it more complex system, and our organization is not capable. The experience I had was when we started developing a PMO. It was, we started small scale and we started moving um, year on year, or quarter on quarter. We started introducing new requirements, new processes. But what we did, that every time we are improving, we are involving our people at every level. So for me, there were like 28 business units, and 28 business in the 28 business unit, there were like 28 strategy guys who were sitting with in the business unit and was reporting indirectly or directly reporting to us. So we used to have a meeting with them, and we used to explain them what changes we are bringing. Parallel to that, we were continuously developing their capability throughout trainings, throughout sessions, throughout knowledge sharing activities. So what happened, that after 2 years, when we reached to the maturity level, all our resources was mature enough to understand the process. Before that, PMO was there, PMO was working, but people were not seeing the value of the PMO. Now, the second, the next one is organizational culture. It is very important to have a buy-in. If you're when it comes to the organizational culture, Peter Drucker says that culture eats the strategy in the breakfast. But on the other hand, the Harvard Business School review, they says that you take care of the processes and the culture will take care of itself. So, and the practical example we implemented in my previous experience with the Mimi, it's a very small example, but it actually reflects how the processes can change the culture of the organization and people behavior. There was two entrances, a very simple example, two entrances of the office, and they wanted, and there was on one entrance there was a biometric for their attendance, and on the other door there was no attendance. So they wanted to capture all the attendance of the employees because people sometimes was coming late or going earlier, stuff like that. So they said no one is allowed to go from that door, and people did not listen. And then they sent another circular, people did not listen. And what they did, they said okay, now they put the security guard there, that your role is not allow anybody to enter from this door. Now people were, in the beginning people were fighting with him, no, I want to go, we are getting late. He said, Habibi, this is my job. If you will not let, if you will go in, I will be fired, so I'm not gonna risk my job, you have to use the other door. And after a week or 2 weeks time, after these all up and down arguments, people started using the front door, or the door the organization wanted them to use. So that's the power of the processes. You have to ensure that your processes, but you have to ensure that your processes are in line with the culture. So if you want to change the culture, you have to put together the right processes, and for that start with the minimum viable product, the simple process, and then step by step, when people get used to it, take them to the next level and to the next level. And this is where comes the continuous improvement. You have to consider throughout your strategy cycle, either it's a strategy planning, either it's a strategy execution, or it's a strategy performance. You have to continuously monitor and see what else you can do, or what else as a PMO we can do to deliver value to the organization and to different stakeholders. Now, with this, I will talk about a little bit of how we have give you a sample that how did we, or we should do the strategy alignment. Uh, our executive leadership want us to cascade the strategy throughout the different level of the organization. Now, depending on the strategy, we have to do an internal and an external alignment, which is called a vertical alignment and a horizontal alignment. So if we are sitting in a corporate and we are a strategy execution office, or an enterprise project management office, or a vision realization office, we have to ensure that strategy, the corporate strategy has been understood, cascaded to different business unit, as well as to the sports units, as well as to the departments and to the employees level. So we translate the corporate strategy into the business unit. In the business unit, of course, depending on the goals of the corporate, in the next slide, I'll show you how we can do that. So we cascade it to the business unit and then to the sports unit, as well as we align the strategy to all department, as well as to the employees level. And in depending on the nature of the strategy, we can have a third party alignment. Like for example, if we see that we have committed a customer to deliver a product in a certain time, and if my supplier does not deliver me the raw material at the given time, then I might not be able to deliver the final product on time. So we align it internally and externally. So this is the strategy cascade, and this is translating the results. So we cascade the strategy to the employees level. So whatever employees will do, it will reflect towards the department, as well as the business unit and the corporate strategy. So just a quick glimpse of how we can do the internal and external, strategy alignment. For example, in our corporate strategy, we have a scorecard where we have objective of increased profitability, increased revenue, reduce operating cost, improve customer experience, increase market share, reduce delivery time, improve operational efficiency, and improve information services. Now, for example, increased profitability or increased revenue is directly with the business unit, where the business units are generating the value in terms of the revenue. When it comes to improving the operational efficiency, of course my sport units will be part of it, because they are doing most of the operations. For example, if IT and finance and human resource are the support processes, if I as a human resource I do not bring the right people, and they cannot contribute towards the organization, or my iteration rate is high, so I'll not be able to deliver the results on time, because people will keep on coming and leaving. So we have to improve that process to ensure that we are selecting the right people, and you know um, helping them grow with us. On the other hand, when it comes to the finance, for example, my recent experience with the finance, I was working with a financing company where the role of a finance was to generate the loans from the banks. Now, unless the finance brings the cash from the bank, my sales cannot sell, because the role of the sales was to sell that cash which we are taking from from the banks. So similarly, we go to when it comes to the improved customer experience, of course, business unit is involved, support units are involved, and external parties are involved, where my suppliers are involved. So here, what we can see is that how we can align the strategy or the cascade the strategy at the different level of within the organization, as well as the external parties, or the third parties, or the external stakeholders. Now, once all these strategies are aligned, then we come to the initiative management. Now we have the initiatives, and we start planning them. Now I will talk about the approach, which is a famous approach for any organization, and which everybody recommends, an alignment. If the initiative is aligned with the organization strategy, time bound, yes. If it has specific time, start and date, specific, each initiative is well defined, clearly objective, task and outcome, resource has been allocated, cross functional team has been assigned, and we have the KPIs to measure the performance of the initiative. But I think one of the most important factor, that when we have a initiative, when we receive an initiative as a PMO, we start planning. Okay, what are the deliverables of the project? When it will be delivered? What resources are required? How we will measure the value of, or the quality of deliverable. But I think the most important thing which we miss is the benefit management, because the initiatives which we are selecting as a strategic initiative is for delivering certain benefit to the organization. And that's the common issue I have seen throughout my experience with different companies, that we, or the PMO, they focus on project execution rather than managing the benefit of the project. So if you want to be a value focused PMO, or if you are developing value focused PMO, you have to ensure that rather than planning the initiative, plan the benefits of the initiative. Now, for example, if we have, okay, the benefits comes throughout the life cycle of the initiative. Now you might ask a question, that unless the initiative, if the project is completed, handed over to the operation, and then we realize the benefits, yes, it's not wrong, but there are two different types of benefits: tangible and non-tangible benefit. Now when we talk about a pure financial initiative where we want to reduce the cost, do we need to finish a project and then start realizing the cost? No, not necessarily. The initiatives which are related to the cost, process optimization, all these initiatives, you can realize the value or the benefit of this initiative throughout the life cycle of the project. On the other hand, the initiatives like governance model development, PMO model development, quality management system development, Six Sigma development, installation of the machine, having a new branch, all these initiatives are the initiatives where, unless you deliver those initiatives, you cannot, start realizing the value. So you have to plan the initiative rather than planning the initiative and the deliverable. My humble experience is that we need to plan the benefit rather than just what are the deliverable of the initiatives. Because if you have certain targets of the objectives, and you are running certain uh, initiatives to achieve those targets, so you have to ensure that all these benefits has been planned, and you start realizing them from, depending on the nature of the product, from the project, from the beginning of the project. Now, just a quick link, that we have objectives, we have KPIs, we have targets, and then we have initiative. In order to achieve these targets, which is, for example, enhance revenue and in increase profitability, let's say we selected two initiative, which is launching of a new product. On the other hand, installation of an automated machine. So we have to, rather than that, okay, these are the deliverables that we will buy. The machine is one deliverable, we will install the machine is the second deliverable, we will commission the machine is a third deliverable, and we will do the pilot run. Yes, these are the deliverables, but we have to ensure that how we are gonna manage the benefits, of how we are going to monitor those benefits. Now, for example, having a new branch did not bring you the 20% addition to the revenue. Having a installed automated machine did not bring you the 5% of the profitability. So you have to ensure that all these. So, but if you will plan the initiative, you will be able to know this at the end of the initiative, where the initiative is over, machine is installed, new branch is opened, but it did not deliver the results because we did not plan the benefits. So we have to ensure that all the benefits has been planned rather than just initiative. I'm not saying that we should not plan the initiative. Initiative will be planned and is planned, but ensure that this planning ensures that every benefit is being captured and realized throughout the life cycle or end of the project. Now, after that, I will quickly talk about the performance management, where I will just take you back to this level of the employees KPIs. So everything which an employee is doing, he is contributing towards the strategy. So you have to define a structure where everything is linked together. So how we did it in a couple of organizations. For example, there were organizational goals and the target of next 5 years, and then the target for the year 2023, and then what are the different objectives or the key results which will contribute towards the improvement of the return on equity. So we said, okay, there are two result areas which will translate, which will affect the ROE. This is related to only the collection department to enhance the quality of portfolio and the process efficiency. And then we gave them the target and we translated it to the measurable KPIs. So this is pure collection. So in the collection we have some buckets, which is bucket A, bucket B, bucket C. Let's not go there. That's a different discussion altogether. So we focused on how the collection department will be able to enhance the quality of their portfolio and how they are going to improve the efficiency of the processes. Just one quick example in the process efficiency, that one of the responsibility of the collection department, that if the customer is not paying, pull back the asset. So and the assets. So what happens is, what throughout the evaluation, we realize that those assets are, people are not paying from 3, 4, 5, 6 months, and the assets are still with them and they're on the road. So that's why we put together the percentage of repossession of the assets. So, and then after this, we saw a huge stock of a repossessed vehicle in our yard, because people started realizing that if they do not do that, their performance will not be good. And then if they don't bring the cars, their performance and the departmental performance. So department head is accountable to ensure that these things started happening. So this is the results, and this is the example I was giving you, that in 6 months time we started seeing the results in terms of sales enhancement, revenue generation, market share, and the ROE. In the year 2022, we did not pay any dividend, but in 2023, we were at least reached to the level where we were able to at least bring some value for the shareholders. So that's how we cascaded all the objectives to different level of the organization. Now, of course, we've been talking about the value focused PMO and the processes, all these things. Everything which we talk about, either is alignment of the strategy, either is which is internal and external, or we are talking about performance management system, or we are talking about having a right framework. This is all about having a right processes. So I mean, you all are aware that process is an activity which takes an input and convert it to the output. So we have to define different level of processes. What are my processes for the strategic alignment? What are my process for value management? How I will communicate within the organization, how I will improve the decision making, how I'm going to manage the change, how I'm going to do the benchmarking, uh, standardizing the framework. So these all are the processes which we define within the PMO. But I think um, for that, in order to understand, we have to understand, because as a value focused PMO, we have to work at every level of the department. Either it's a strategic level, or is a business unit level, or is a department level, or it is all the way to the operations level. For that, we have to understand quickly. I'll take you through the different level of processes. So having a better understanding of the processes will give us a better understanding of how we can design our processes effectively. So processes are usually categorized into different levels. There are 4 levels of the processes. Now, the first level is a strategic process. These are also called the first level processes, and as a high level strategic goal organization. These are the high level processes that are directly linked to an organization's strategic goals and objectives. They are often referred as a level 1 processes. Now, for example, strategic planning process, market research and analysis process. So you have to ensure that PMO help organization defining all these processes, because PMO is a group of people, or I would say as a center of excellence, is where we have subject matter experts of disciplines, and we understand how the process works, how the strategy works. So that's how PMO get involved into the strategy performance strategy process enhancement. And if we improve these processes, it have a substantial impact on the organization in terms of strategy planning, strategy execution, and the performance management, and other strategic processes. Second is the core processes. The core processes are fundamental to the primary function of an organization. These are the key processes that directly contribute the creation and delivery of the product or service to the customer. Few examples are product design and development, service design, supplier management and evaluation, customer relationship, operational performance monitoring, etc. And improving these processes can enhance the customer satisfaction. The third level of processes is a support processes. These are the third level processes which are mostly talking about the support processes which are contributing towards the core processes. So the examples are human resource processes, information technology processes, finance and accounting processes, procurement and supply chain, legal and administrative processes. Now, improving these processes lead to increased customer satisfaction. I think I did not change. And improving these processes lead towards the operational efficiency of the organization. The last is operational processes, which is the lowest level of processes, or it goes to the machine level, that how your machine should be operated. Document management, supply chain management, product development and innovation, quality control and inspection, non-conformity management, calibration and maintenance, and risk management. These are the processes which we take to the lowest level of the organization, that even to the level of the work instruction. And improving these processes increase the productivity and reduce the errors. So just a quick overview of the level of processes. Now, considering these 4 level of processes, you have to design the PMO processes, and everybody knows that process is an activity which takes an input and convert it to the output. So once you are defining these processes, PMO processes, you have to see what processes will contribute towards the strategy formulation, as well as execution, as well as the performance. So you have to do the benchmarking. But when you do the benchmarking, then you can go to the tailored approach, that what suits your organization. And then, of course, you have to do the alignment with the stakeholder. You have to incorporate stakeholder expectation and align it with the stakeholders to ensure that the processes are delivering what they are expecting. And keep the processes flexible, as I've already explained, that our processes should be flexible and understood at all levels. Then consider the culture of the organization, that what suits the culture of the organization, and what processes are required to change the culture of the organization. and then of course enhance the organization capacity. That what is the current capacity of the organization, and if that process is suitable to deliver value to the organization or no. And then of course organization maturity. But all these things, once you have all these processes, then you have to ensure that you are enhancing the capability of the resources who are working with you, either on the projects, either in the business units. So one of the initiatives which we have taken, which we took, was developing our resources on the project management. But there was another initiative which was one of the most important initiatives we took in one of the organization, was to develop the leadership on an organizational project management. So that talked about every aspect of the management, as well as the project management, as well as the strategy. So that enhanced the capability of the business unit heads also, that how they should see the strategy execution and how they can contribute towards the execution of the strategy and the initiatives. Kader Saab, do I have time? I think I'm almost done.
Yeah. So I think he can conclude. Okay, so it's a very interesting topic for us up. So you can conclude. It's very interesting. So you talk about the benefits management. So basically,
Yeah.
my question is to you, Fawad, is when you do the strategy plan, so you do the value gap analysis.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
how to close that gap by initiative? Okay, so is there something similar what you're talking about? So you measure it
See,
once you complete the project, something like that.
see, almost the value gap is from one place to another. So in order to cover that value gap, we run multiple initiatives, right? Now, what we need to align is that every initiative is delivering the benefit which will cover that value gap. Of course, not one initiative will cover the whole value gap, or not five initiative will deliver only 2% of the value gap. So my emphasis and my approach is, when we talk about the benefit management, that we ensure that every project, before the project is closed and we realize that the value we were expecting or the benefit we were expecting is not delivered, we should plan it keeping the end in mind. We should ensure that this project, when we are running throughout the life cycle, we ensure that it will deliver the value and benefit which are expected from that project.
That is true. That will give the appropriate. That will help the management to select appropriate initiatives. Pay attention to it. Just
Exactly.
not the fancy thing. I like
That
this
will
project.
also.
Let us fund it. Yeah, that is fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Kader Saab. A quick overview about, if you don't mind.
Yeah. Please go ahead.
Yeah. So I'm working with the BMI. BMI is a management consulting organization, and we are helping clients into strategy advisory, business advisory, management system advisory, and human capital advisory. So for any questions, you can reach me back at my mobile number or my email, which is fawad@bmiplus.com, and you can visit our website also. With this, thank you very much, and Kader Saab, thank you very much for this opportunity. And if you guys have some questions,
which I think we'll post to you, maybe you can answer it. Okay, so we'll post to you and you can answer it. Yeah. Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much. Deep. So it's a very long session conference. Okay, so many of our audience participants are staying there from the beginning to the end. Okay, that's something great. Okay, so we are in the last presentation, so we don't want to take a lot of time, so we quickly do the presentation. Myself and Mr. Gopal Sharma presented. Okay, so we together will present it. Let me share, sir, the screen. Share the screen, and then the PPT. Please let me know if it is visible. Yeah, if the screen is visible, I believe.
Yes.
Can anybody confirm? Okay.
It is visible to me.
Yeah, so we don't go too much introduction, because myself and Mr. Gopal have already presented it. Okay, so what we are talking here is ESG is a buzzword now. Okay, so environmental, social, and governance is now something is very critical, especially from the investor point of view, and then from the compliance point of view. Okay, so we talk about this very quickly, followed by how this can be done in a systematic manner. Okay, so let us. I'll just operate the PowerPoint. You can just. So I think we had a session in the morning. So I bring 30 plus years of experience in strategy execution, supply chain, business management, project management, enterprise resource planning. Okay, with the various industries, very few certifications on the credit. So I'm the chief architect for Fru Strategy, a comprehensive strategy management solution. So we are the sponsors of this event. Okay, so I'll just take through Gopal Sharma ji. Yeah, over to you, sir.
Okay, I think morning I already gave a brief about myself. So just I want to say I have recently published a book on mastering strategic excellence. It covers both strategy development and execution. And it has got 4 appendices, useful appendices, where you have the sample of balances, scorecards, and strategy maps, and also includes extensive KPI library, which can be referred to in case it is required. And it also has all the standard templates which are used for strategy development and execution. So it can be very useful, kind of help book. And as morning I said, 40 years of total experience, 20 years in strategy execution and balance scorecard implementation. What I forgot to mention is I'm also certified balance scorecard practitioner from Kaplan and Norton Palladium. That was done in 2008. And I think I'll just move on.
Yeah.
So we go to the next slide. Okay. The agenda is that how to align ESG objectives with the balance scorecard, and how to do the ESG assessment, and if any questions any of the participants have. So looking at the stakeholders who are impacted by organization's ESG footprint, of course, these are 8 main stakeholders, including investors, communities, suppliers, employees, regulators, customers, and finances. And we need to take into consideration the expectation from all these 7 key stakeholders. All right, next. So as you all know, ESG stands for environment, social, and governance. And environment includes, of course, climate change and carbon emission, energy efficiency, water scarcity, biodiversity, and deforestation. Social is employees' engagement, customer satisfaction, labor relations, geopolitics situations, and other stuff. And governance includes board diversity, which is, I think, recently it has come into limelight, including female directors. Minimum requirement have been established also for listed companies. Then you have management remuneration, which needs to be certified or which needs to be approved by key stakeholders and shareholders. Then organizations are required to have whistleblower schemes and whistleblower policies. Then political lobbying and donations are another things which need to be disclosed as per the governance requirement. Yeah. So major factors, if you look at impacted by ESG environment, of course, increasing operating costs due to higher pricing for greenhouse gases emissions. So organizations need to take care of. Then writes off and early retirements of assets due to enhanced emission reporting. This is related to the first element. Then reduced demand for goods and services due to change in customer choices, because the customers are becoming more and more aware of those ESG requirements which are dictated by the respective government bodies. And then there are costs associated to adapt and deploy new practices and processes while transitioning to the lower emission technology. So these are main environmental factors, they impact the businesses. Social factors include the impacts on companies' profitability and reputation due to labor disputes and strikes and these things. It also includes, of course, employee satisfaction. That's a major factor. Reduced demand for customers or litigation due to safety risk in products and services. And then you have disruption in operations or supply chain due to geopolitical conflicts, which is kind of, sometimes it can be a major factor depending where you're operating. And then, of course, demographics and consumer changes, shrinking market for the company's product. So changes in the taste, changes in the requirements and new developments. All these social factors can impact, are impacted by ESG requirements. Governance is a major thing which has recently government has been focusing on. Multiple directorships of board members leading to conflict of interest. This is, I think, being addressed or being looked at now very seriously because it leads to conflict, or it may lead to conflict of interest if you have, if a director has membership in two different organizations and they are related to each other. Lack of experienced board members is also a cause of concern. Navigating an energy company through the transition, because many of the directors, maybe they are not having enough knowledge about the ESG requirements and they may not be able to provide right kind of guidance or strategy to the board. Then excessive executive remuneration also is eroding trust in business. And finally, scandals due to tax compliances on information lax in compliances on information disclosure, auditing and accounting and regulations. So these are some of the concerns which are impacted by the ESG. Yes, next.
Yeah.
Can you move to the next slide? Yes.
I did move.
Okay. It didn't work. Okay.
Okay.
So typically, if you look at implementing or establishing ESG corporate strategy, it is a 7-step process. So first of all, you need to do the materiality assessment, that to what extent ESG requirements are applicable to the business and what are the things they need to take care on priority basis. So that kind of assessment needs to be done. So that leads to doing the assessment of the current baseline situation, that to what extent the impact is there on the ESG requirements and how they need to be addressed. So based on that, the objectives and goals are set for the ESG strategy. And the fourth step is that to what extent they want to address and what, let's say, the targets they want to achieve in a time frame. So you have a time frame and then you have your strategy based on the time frame, and then you put some kind of a performance measures so that you are able to track the performance on the ESG requirements. And based on that, you develop a strategic roadmap that how you're going to achieve those objectives and performance levels related to ESG. And then you have those actions required to achieve those KPIs. And then the last step is the reporting the progress, both internally and externally. Because there are government requirements as far as ESG reporting is concerned for certain, beyond certain size of businesses. So they need to report to the shareholders and as well as to the government bodies who are actually responsible for implementing the ESG strategies for the businesses. So that's a 7-step process which need to be done.
Yeah. So can I take up, sir? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, Carl.
So now, thank you, sir. How to do that how to link the ESG part to the balanced scorecard? I think recently, a couple of years ago, as Mihai was saying, So balance scorecard, the concept was updated by Dr. Kaplan. Okay. So one of the way is to have an environmental and social perspective where you can have. So I need to share it, right? Again, is it visible?
Not yet.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Is it visible now?
The screen is shared, but there is nothing visible on this screen.
Okay. Let me stop and reshare.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it is visible now. Okay. Is it visible? Can anybody confirm?
No.
Okay. Yeah, Deep, you're able to hear, right?
Okay, now it's visible to me. I don't know if everybody is able to see it because I'm seeing only the presentation now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, in that
Yeah,
way
yeah.
it is.
It
Yeah,
is
you can see
visible.
it. Yes,
So because
it's
of that.
visible. Okay,
So,
go ahead,
so,
sir.
so there are two ways to do it. From my experience, there are two ways to do it. One is you include one perspective for the ESG, whether it is a environmental and social or ESG together, or you have your standard four perspectives with the different ESG objectives clubbed into that. Okay, so it's your choice. What is the best suitable for you? You can define. Okay, so technically speaking, it is like this. So if you take an example, we have a financial perspective, we have a customer perspective, the learning and growth, and then internal and process perspective and learning and growth. These are our traditional balanced scorecard perspectives. Now we take it up like sustainability perspective. So this sustainability perspective can take up like environmental part, social and governance part. So you can have one perspective to define that. So both ways are possible. Okay, so this is one example taken from an article to showcase financial, customer, internal, the learning and growth, and then there is like environmental, eco, social. Okay, so there are two or three. It could be two or three separate. Yeah. You're right. Okay, so it will be like that. So it all depends on organizational need, but the balance scorecard does include, the methodology does include with a different perspective or the same within the same perspectives with the different objectives covering up. That's your choice. So both ways are possible. So this is another example shared in the HBR review. Okay, so like sustainable innovative processes. So recently, so balance scorecard, they're talking about the vision, then the outcomes, instead of calling it as a customer perspective, we call it as a value for the stakeholders perspective kind of thing. Okay, so again, the same example. So how to do the assessment for ESG? Basically, you need to have a ESG team. This is very, very high level kind of flow, what we can talk about. So you can have an ESG team, define ESG assessment questionnaires. It changed from industry to industry, company to company. So you need to see what is the compliance requirement, and then the scoring criteria. Some says 0, 1, 2, 3, some say yes, no. You need to see it. Okay. So basically, conduct an assessment. So you have a score, you have a gap analysis, then you find out the closing the gap. Okay. So continuous reporting on the ESG performance, that is something. Now here we talk about, so all these things can be done through a system. That's what we talk about. Okay, so let me show you something here. So in the strategy map, I hope it is there. Yeah. So 1 second. So if you go to the full strategy, okay, so you can have a strategy map to talk about regular 4 perspectives, which is the financial, customer, internal process, and revenues. Or you can have, sorry, not in this. Let me take you through this. Yeah. So there is one more example where we talk about.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
can go to the next slide. I'm not able to see if it is moved.
Yeah. Are you able to see the screen?
Yes.
Yeah. So here, the strategy map in the system, the flow strategy, it will help you to
No,
define.
to me, sorry, Mr. Kadir, still it is showing this Amanco's strategy map. That is to me, actually.
Okay.
So, I don't know if the screen, slide has next slide.
Let me share.
We are unable to see the screen, Dr. Kadir.
Yeah, let me share the screen.
I think there is some issue. I think computer got tired more than all of us. We are still at high level of energy.
Can you see now?
No.
Still not visible, the screen?
No.
Deep, can you just help us? So make it, can you make me presenter, Deep, so that, maybe that is the reason?
No.
Just help me out.
Yes, now it is visible. Okay, I'll mute myself. Maybe that can help. I'm not sure.
Okay. So basically, if you have a strategy map like this, so with a financial perspective, customer perspective, so internal perspective, and enablers. So you can have a strategy map. So for okay, yeah. So you can have a separate. Sorry, it got distorted because of multiple things. I'm not sure. Yeah. So you can have financial, customer, internal perspective, enablers, and then also you can have environmental perspective where you can see it. Okay, so the whole strategy map can be customized to include the perspectives for the 5th or 6th perspective. So you can directly have it, and then once you click any objectives, you have the full story of the strategic objectives. Yeah, it's like that. So the main thing is the flow strategy encompasses creating multiple perspectives, and you can include ESG part into that. So that's the main take. Okay, so I will also talk to you about the ESG assessment, which we talk about quickly in the morning. So you can set up masters. So how to do the ESG assessment criteria? So you can define criteria. Okay, so you can define the questions into the system. Okay, so what is the scoring mechanism? You can run the assessment part with this. So you can have a scoring. So anybody can give the score with the individual users. You can even the pre-assessment questionnaires also can be set into the system. Okay, so that you can with the comments. Okay, then you can conduct the ESG assessment in the system. Of course, each participant will get the email, so you can see the overall score and average scores. So So individuals give the ESG team will give the score, and then the system do compile all the scores together. Okay. So likewise, you can have a ESG dashboards where you can see what is the target versus actuals. Okay. So likewise, you can see the individuals and also who are the one participated. You can see the scores. So the Fruit strategy help you to do the ESG assessment in a more flexible way, user-defined way. So you can have it, and it's more collaborative platform to help you to include ESG into the design and then the implementation. I think that's a quick navigation through the system because we are at the end of the session, so we don't want to. So any questions related to the ESG, how it can be incorporated into the balanced scorecard? So myself and Mr. Gopal Sharma will be happy to answer. Yeah. So let me stop the screen share. Okay, so let us take up the questions. Okay, because it's too late. It's already we have spent more time. So I would like to if there is any particular question, we will take it up. Otherwise, we will take it up to the concluding remarks of the conference. Yeah. So I think we don't have many questions. So all the questions posted will be answered by a concerned expert. Okay. So I would like to take this as an opportunity to thank all of you, all the speakers. They spent the whole time from the different time zones. Really, it is very much. I really appreciate their humble acceptance to participate in the conference, and it's a very knowledge-provoking sessions. And I thank all the participants who joined through all the channels, whether it is to WebEx or YouTube or Facebook. So we definitely take up all the questions and then make sure that we answer them. So we can unmute the speak Deep if you would like. So we can just welcome any questions or anything anybody want to speak. Yeah. So please feel free. Yeah. So we can unmute where is that? I'm not able to see it. Deep, if you can. I would like to unmute so that Yeah. I saw it I saw the feature a while ago. Yeah, here. Unmute all. Yeah, attendees can unmute yourself. Okay, so I just put unmute. So if anybody would like to give any quick insights, because it's a long day. It's almost like a 10 hours and 30 minutes. So it's a 10-hour session. So please feel free, Gopal sir. So you would like to talk something about it?
No,
yes,
yes.
Sheikh
Go ahead.
Abdul Qadir Saab and Gopal Saab.
Yes.
I think today's session was incredible. We had such a best speakers all day. So there was a lot of earning. My question is that what will be the next step? What will we do next? Because you have started a very good thing. Now we have to follow up with more events like this and more sharing. Thank you.
Yeah, so to answer this question, thank you very much. So what is the idea here is to make sure that the strategy execution and strategy planning are we would like to from the data labs and Fruit strategy, we would like to bring the experts to the another experts. So it's like a collaboration. So what we do is we will be conducting few more sessions not few more. It's an ongoing process. We would like to conduct a little detailed sessions. It's 30 to 45 minutes is not enough to talk about these expertise Okay, so what we will do is we'll have like a 2.5 hours